As a matter of fact, I have the pleasure today of doing business with one of my earliest mentors, a gentleman named Chaz Gerber, who has Gerber Acoustics out of Florida, does corporate events and stuff like that. There was a group of audio companies at 20th and the Dane Street area. I hung out with them. I did anything to hang out with them and learn about sound. We used to go down, my friends and I, at 10 o'clock in the morning on nights when there were shows, the Spectrum in Philly, and hang out for the crew, wait for the crews to come in, hang out with the crews, off to unload their trucks, go in with them, hang out. We got to see shows. And there was this whole Philadelphia music crowd, give you some idea, sound specialties, which ultimately Chaz worked with, as best as I recall. They had two acts. Their big act was a band still around called Fairport Convention. And that was their big act. Their B act that they did when they weren't busy, or I did work some college gigs and things like that, was some guy named Bruce Springsteen. So that gives you an idea of the time frame and the way the world was back then. Not to in any way diss my friends at EAW. No. EAW struggled with all the stuff that they did, with the time frame, with the changes, with the engineering team growing and things, and with all the custom work. They really struggled with the diversity of product and the time frame of a consistent sound, which is something that I always struggled with when at EAW, and tried to balance that against all this diversity. At Vue, I knew we didn't want to do that, because that was a struggle I didn't want to take on. But also a lot of it came from Mike, first off. Mike was totally new and different. He knew all the technology, and he'd been doing this for a very long time. He has so much experience of actually using the stuff and being involved in the development and building the stuff, that breadth of both practical and technical and sort of academic all mixed together, it really was unique. We really have worked very, very hard to make sure our products meet or exceed anything out there, and exceed in a lot of ways anything out there in terms of quality. But I think more unique differentiator, particularly at this moment in time, is the fact sonically all of our systems have the same sort of sound character. There's a high degree of consistency in the way they work, in how they sound. I think it's definitely passion first, because no one decides to go into this business because of the technology or because of the money. We are one of those industries that's related to a real industry. The technology's gone a different place. So much of it is now modeled on the computer, and that there are people doing really audio-related modeling stuff, because it's not about a lot of money. It's about a really bright guy sitting there thinking about it and typing away at his computer. But even still, a lot of that, with the original beam steering, not the original beam steering, but the first modern beam steering stuff that we did back at EAW, was all based on all these papers on steering antennas for radar. That's where they started making arrays and doing all that stuff. Again, it's applied technology. Our industry does not lend itself to large corporate ownership, in my humble opinion. Not that there's anything wrong with it or has a bad place in the industry, but I think they struggle in a market as small as ours. And that's not to say that there's not large companies that could. There are large companies, particularly European ones that come to mind, that have these unique small divisions that they invest in, and so it's not inherently, but certainly your more public large corporation struggles with something in an industry as small as ours. I love, and been traveling more this past year than I have in probably my entire life. And I do love going out in the field. There's a lot of things I do and I enjoy doing in my office. And I certainly like working with the team, developing the products and all that stuff. But going out in the field and being with the customers and being in looking at the applications and traveling the world is absolutely the most fun. I mean, I think, like I said, I think I've had this unbelievably blessed career/life that most people don't get. I have, friends all over the world. I've seen some of the greatest music there is. I've been involved in all these great projects. I have great engineers I've worked with. I've had multiple successful businesses. Like I said, I think I was just amazingly lucky. Most people don't have that much fun. Picking people and putting them together, they don't necessarily, people interview well that don't actually perform well. People that don't interview well or don't stand out turn out to be some of the most amazing performers. And then so much of it is chemistry within the team. You could have great people, but if they don't fit into the team, and if the team doesn't mesh, none of that stuff, the fact that it's a great person and his capabilities may or may not actually benefit the team. So it's a constant challenge, and it's a constant management process to really get a great team together.